welcome. Good morning. We are bright and early, day one, digital dealer. Everyone's still excited. Hopefully no one got into too much trouble last night. It's tomorrow morning I worry about, so I'm glad I'm here today. Look, guys, they have billed this as an interactive session, okay, which means they want you to interact with me. Here's the thing. I don't want to force interaction on anybody, all right? So you guys want to talk? You want to have questions? This whole thing is set up to do so. There are 11 total slides, so we will not be in harm's way of getting through them. So what I want you to think about throughout all of this is, does this relate to my store? And is it an approach I would take? And if it's not, please say why. I love to have discussions. I love to work with you guys to make this presentation more for you than for me, okay? So in order to start, turn this baby on. Here we go. So I do a quick agenda. Here's the briefest of introductions. My name is Sean Welsh. I've been in this industry 20 plus years. I'm insane about it. I love it every day of my life. I get the opportunity to speak at these events because I like to bring the knowledge out to people and what I've learned over the years. So because we have a small room, I'm going to start up front. We're going to go person by person. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just really quickly, though, this is the fun part. Dealers, raise your hand. Okay? Beautiful. Vendors, raise your hand. Anyone in between OEMs, raise your hand. Okay, see, look at this. This is the crowd I'm looking for because I'm well-versed in dealers, vendors, and OEMs. So we can have a really great discussion throughout. In my session today, it's about managing and maximizing the most empowered generation of all time. Those of you who work in dealerships know the problems we are having keeping our staff, let alone finding them, okay? So I want to work with you to help you understand how we can keep them happy, and do the work. But all my focus is on management. So when I talk like act like you own it, that's speaking to sales managers to take the mind and approach of an owner. You see? Because if you act like you own it, you'll make better decisions. And again, we'll talk about it throughout. Clear communication and expectations are the foundation to success, okay? Now, does that sound like a line from a therapist? It is, because that's where I got it, all right? That's how I got it. So I try to take all of what I learned along the way and put it in these presentations. Utilizing the available tools at your dealership. There are so many people who worry about managing a specific way, whether that's by personality, whether that's by data. There's all these mixes, but you have so many tools to help you with all of it at your store that someone, probably not you, unless you're the owner, is fitting the bill for. So that's all about utilizing what you have and getting it done. So let's jump into it. When I say act like an owner, what do I mean? I mean be the king, okay? I mean think like the king. Why is that important? Because twofold. One, if you view your customer interactions through the lens of an owner, guess what you're less likely to do? Make major mistakes, okay? Because you're putting it in the mind of the owner. One of the first GMs I ever had said, Sean, if you act like an owner, you'll be an owner. Interesting. 5 years later, I was on the track to do so because everything I looked at, I approached from an owner perspective. When I looked at digital advertising budgets, it's, hey, how much of it do I have? How much of it should we be spending? Where is it allocated? But as a sales manager, you see, I started to think about, wait a second, if I don't make this deal based on the gross profit and I'm overlooking a customer that's 5 miles away and they're in my PMA and I could get their service, why don't I make the deal? Sales managers, some of them think, well, I'm paid on gross, so on that deal, I pass. Well, problem there is as an owner, I don't pass, okay? If that thing can make $1 and they live within 10 miles of our dealership, you make that deal. That's how I feel, right? People say, oh, you're Larry Low Gross. That's okay. I'm all right. I'm also the guy who keeps customers coming back, right? So you've got to think about your retention efforts. How good are those? And if they're not good, again, acting like the owner and thinking about it from his perspective or her perspective. Because when you're an owner, one of the biggest things in a dealership is having the right personnel below you and understanding how they operate and what gets the work done. So when we talk about being an owner, that's what we're talking about, all right? And those of you who are owners in the room, then you know what I mean. Those of you who are sales managers, think about it through that lens and just see how you'd approach your job potentially different than you do now. Because when we get into that, we talk about act like an owner. I want you to think about the franchise model. I don't mean OEM, I kind of mean OEM dealerships. That's not what I mean. This is what I mean. McDonald's, you see? The big golden arches, right? Here they are, big company. Do you know they only own less than 10% of their actual locations? Everything else is franchised? Did you know that? So here's my thing. As a sales manager, guess what my salespeople are? McDonald's franchises. Why is that? Because I want to empower them to run their own businesses, okay? I'll never forget the first time that I came into one of my stores as a GM and said, hey guys, here's what I want to do for this week's schedule. I want you guys to pick your own. We have 2 slots. We have an opening and a closing. There you go. Whoa, how are we going to have coverage? Don't worry, just start picking the slots. Naturally, it worked out. People wanted certain things. They worked their way through it, and we were empowering them to make their own decisions. Because at a dealership, you view salespeople sometimes as independent entities, and we'll get into silos later, but when they're viewed that way, if you isolate them without encouraging them, you leave them on an island by themselves, okay? Then that becomes a poorly run franchise that gets bought back by McDonald's, all right? But for you guys as managers, view your people as franchisees, right? Why is that? Because we'll give them all that they need, we'll support them, right? McDonald's does the advertising, right? So that's what you guys do as managers. You take care of the advertising, but someone needs to greet and deal with the customer. How do we do that best to make sure people come away and say, you know what? I feel empowered at work. I feel like people want to value my opinion. Yesterday, what's today? Tuesday, right? Yeah, cool. Yesterday, I do a weekly podcast. Yesterday's episode was about who you work for impacts how you work. The feedback people were giving me all throughout yesterday and even into this morning was, hey, Sean, this really resonates with me because I work for some real jerks. And I don't know how to deal with that. Well, I gave you 3 outcomes for dealing with jerks. 1, deal with it. 2, go above their head. 3, quit. Anybody have any options I missed? That's kind of how I thought of it, right? So we want to take people down the road of encouragement and empowerment without kind of making sure that they understand that we're still the boss under the franchise model, right? I have friends who own franchises in different worlds, Jimmy John's, whatever, and a lot of what they can do is up to them, and a lot of what they can do is not up to them. So just think about it through that lens. It's not a huge, oh my God, earth-shattering way to think about it, but when I started to view my team that way and give them the ability to make hay and do it their own way, we found it to be extremely successful in the long term. So think about the franchise model. Here's another highlight about my deck. All 10 slides. There's not a ton that are photo worthy, okay? So you don't have to worry about pulling your phones out. It's more of a guide, so I apologize for anyone looking for a quick photo op there. Look, you got to find out what motivates them. By that, I mean the franchisees. What motivates them to do the job? It's an interesting question because 10 years ago, you could have asked me what motivated me, and without a doubt, I would have stared you in the eye and said, money. Now what? That's what motivates me. Find it. Well, guess what? Given the amount of pictures up here and posters throughout motivational speaking, you find there are a million different ways to motivate people. So here we are in a Saturday morning meeting. We sit down, and I said, guys, I want to try something different for spiffs this week. How about we do this? I'll put up the normal $100, a car, $300 for a hat trick, blah, blah, blah. Or you can leave early on Friday. You could show back up Monday at noon for work if you hit your 2-car, 3-car bonus for the day. Anyone want to take a guess how many people out of 10 took money and how many people out of 10 took time? Anybody? See, I try for that's my interactive piece right there. So good. Here's what I'll tell you. The number was split down the middle. 5 and 5, and I was blown away. Because in the car business, we're taught from the very beginning that money rules all, money will motivate, money will keep you. If the check clears, we can treat you however we'd like. Not the case anymore. It's not the case anymore. First of all, unemployment is at an all-time low, which tells me there's probably a few folks that are employed that shouldn't be, so you're going to have to deal with some of that. However, in this world, the opportunity to go to another dealership who is doing it right is becoming increasingly easier. My first dealership, you know how they kept me? They offered me a nicer demo in 1998. That was it. They're like, you don't want to drive a Cavalier, do you? I'm like, no, what can I drive? How about a Tahoe? I'm in, I'll stay here forever. It's stupid, right? But at 19, that was the motivator. That was life. That's what I thought was a good idea. So when I talk about finding out what motivates people, you got to ask the questions, right? Because if they have a family, then time is going to matter. I do not have kids. My business is my kid. It's where I commit all of my time. However, over time, I've come to appreciate making less and having a better quality of life. This is crazy to hear, right? Car people are like, I would never do that. You should do that, okay? You should think about it, because if your dealerships offer better hours, guys, I'm not talking about offering like 9 to 4 Monday through Friday and close on Saturdays. That's not my implication. All I'm simply saying is, do we need to grind on people for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week to get what we need? No, is the answer. First lesson my dad ever taught me when I was old enough to remember was, you're going to have to work smarter, not harder. That's my approach to management. That's my approach to helping people understand how to get more out of their people. Like I said, I've been doing this 20 plus years. I have worked for some really cool people, and I have worked for some really crappy people, okay? And you know why I stuck with the crappy people? Because they wrote the biggest checks and they always cashed. Bad, right? Sad story. One that we hear all too often in our stores. So think about what motivates you as a manager. Think about how your boss or bosses pull that out of you. And if you can, try to think about how you're going to get more out of your people by finding out what motivates them. Because it isn't, and this comes off, it's even crazy to say out loud, right? It isn't money. Not anymore. There are other options. And the empowerment, when I talk about that with the generation of workers we have, I mean the empowerment, they'll just get up and go do something else. There used to be 2-week notices. Now I got a lot more no call, no show. Hey, showed up to an interview 2 hours late. I mean, it's crazy what we deal with today trying to hire people. That's why you've got to work your asses off to keep them, especially if they're good. And I don't mean giving people carte blanche because they're good to just do whatever they want. But if they're good, you need to be able to manage egos in a car dealership, right? I'm a mild sports fan. And one of the things that I always bring up to people is a guy by the name of Phil Jackson. He coached the Bulls and the Lakers. He has 7 championships. People will always say, yeah, but he had Michael Jordan. He had Kobe Bryant. Do you have any idea how hard that must have been to manage the egos of some of the best athletes to ever set foot in the world? Phil Jackson, sure, he created an offense. At the end of the day, he himself will say it's about managing egos. Managing egos at a car dealership, now that seems weird. There are egos in car dealerships, right? Come on, guys. We know it. We know it exists. Let's think about how we can get more out of it. I heard a dealer. This was a dealer, right? Come to me the other day. I was in his showroom, and he jokingly turned to me. He said, Shawnee, you know why we have double doors for the showroom? I'm like, yeah, this is like a trick question, right? I'm like, yeah, to get the cars in. He's like, nope, get my GM's head in through the door after a good march. Oh, this guy works for you. I don't know, was that derogatory? Was that a compliment? He's like, it's both. Okay, well, that doesn't work for most people. Most people have to have a clear distinction as to, are they being patted on the back or are they being slapped in the head, okay? And his idea of this was, hey, if I keep them on edge, I keep them guessing. Yeah? You'll keep them looking for work the same way. Just think about it. Think about how we tend to playing games makes it sound like it's fun. How we tend to just do our own thing and think that the car business is this different animal, this different entity than other businesses that exist. And sure, it is, but it's still a business. Still has to be done in respect. Right? Think about the last time you left an employer. Why'd you do it? Did you leave for money? Did you leave for freedom? Did you want to closely align your passion with what you do for a living? Right? That's the old saying, if you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life. I tend to disagree. I love what I do, but it's still work, man. You know, running a company, working a dealership, working for a vendor, it doesn't matter. It's still a job. You still have to get up and do it. So let's think about the motivation behind people's actions and how can we be better with it. So yeah, back to the story there about the dealer who didn't want to tell his GM exactly how he felt. I need you to get out a blowhorn and scream it to people. There must be an outline of clear expectations, and you must communicate them on an ongoing basis. The worst thing to have happen to someone is for someone to get fired, to get written up, to get demoted, whatever it is, and they were potentially not aware of whatever happened. Because someone along the way decided, hey, look, I'm going to change things up. I'm going to do things differently, okay? I was in dealerships with sales managers that would change from day to day how they would treat people, right? One of the first lessons I learned in the car business was actually before I got into it. I was in the men's clothing business, and one of the guys I worked for, I'd come in on a bad day, and I just kind of had my head down. I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll take it up. He's like, no. Go back outside, go to that curb, drop whatever this is outside, and come in ready to work. And when you're done with work, go back outside and pick that nonsense up and take it home. But I don't want it here. Your attitude, your bad attitude, isn't going to fly here. Now that was clearly communicated on his expectation of my attitude for the day. So when I ran dealerships, if you came in and had a bad day, if you look like someone who was just not going to have it today, hey, good to see you. Why don't you turn around and go back in your demo and go home? Why? What's wrong? You're not going to do us any good today. You're going to burn through the advertising dollars I spent to get people here because you're in a bad mood. That's the problem. That goes back to thinking like an owner. Most sales managers want to say, you know what? If I'm going to be here, you're going to be here. That's life. Why does it have to be life? Why? If you don't like being a manager, stop being one. How many managers will tell you they made more money as salespeople with less heartache? All the time, right? Head shakes. Yep, that's when I used to be a sales guy. Yeah. Okay, well, you can always return. I mean, think about now. If you were a top-tier sales guy 10 years ago, imagine what you could be now. You could be one of those dudes that somehow sells 100 cars a month. Okay? The empowerment you could have with a CRM, with a BDC making all your appointments, right, Dave? You know how it is. This is what all these available opportunities in front of you as a salesman. Yet we have managers who have been promoted based on what? Think about how you promote folks. Is the best sales guy going to be the best manager? It's all right. Interactivity in my room is shaking your head. I'll take it. So that was interactive. You shook your heads no. I agree. The best salesman does not make the best manager. However, just because you promote someone doesn't make them a manager. How many times have you seen a manager get promoted and then they just say, cool, man, here's the keys to the desk. On your way. Guy's never been a manager in his life. How does he know what to do now? So you know what he does? Manages by fear, manages by what he's seen before. All those equal poor management at a dealership. I hear so many dealers every day of my life because I'm in stores say, Sean, advertising, dollars, this, and this. You don't need to spend more money, guys. You all have enough ups. You all have enough leads. You need to sell more of what you have. And the only way to do that is to get more out of your people and communicate everything going on. My owner thought I was crazy to walk in with the advertising budget to a Saturday morning meeting. But I got so pissed from the Saturday before watching people just get ghosted on my lot. Watching it. People just, oh, nice, yes, thank you, have a great day. What in the hell was that? Oh, he wouldn't come inside. Then bring the table outside. I don't care. I deserve, as an owner, that customer in my showroom. I paid to acquire him, and I paid handsomely. If he buys, NADA tells me I spent $600 a sold car on the new car side. Anyone want to talk about how much I pay to lose deals? No. So when I walked into that Saturday morning meeting and I put the big sheet of paper down, whole big ad budget, what's that? That's $87,000 a month I don't ask any of you for. And that dude doesn't ask me for it, right? So here he is spending all this money on us to get leads, and we have no respect for him, for his system. He spends, what, 100 grand on a CRM? What do we do with it? And we use it a little bit. Maybe we don't. We have certain departments within our dealerships that are dedicated to it. BDCs, right, Dave? CRM, you live in it. You couldn't beg a sales guy to live in it the same way you live in it, though. Right. Why is that? Because no one's made the expectation of salespeople that whatever they do, you do. Because this is our money. We have put it up. I got stores spending $1 million amongst 3 locations over a year. Someone said to me the other day, man, is that really that much? Whoa, what? Is it really that much? It's $1 million effing dollars. Yeah, it's a lot of money, man. It's a crazy amount of money. And for it, what do we expect? What do we talk about asking our people to understand? We do not communicate the expectation well enough in this industry. It's part of what was difficult for me going back and forth, trying to get my store to do it the way that I wanted. Clear expectations for CRMs. Well, the way I did it was I fined people. So after my Saturday morning meeting of showing my budget didn't really change anything, so I was like, what else can I do to motivate people to get on board with me here because I'm getting kind of frustrated. Oh, wait, I know. Every time I see someone ghost a customer, I'll just put a little tick sheet down, like my receptionist kept for all the incoming sales calls that I was paying for. And then at the end of the day, I'd say, man, Sean had 4 tick marks. How much should each tick mark be worth? I don't know. Let's pick $10. Cool. Walk up to his desk, put a 40 on his desk. Comes in the next morning. Hey, Sean, man, I saw it. Sorry, this is on my desk. What is it? That's $40 you owe me. Do you want me to AR or do you want to pay it in cash? How do you want to handle it? For what? For not using the $1 million piece of CRM equipment I have. I'm only fining you $40. You can't fine me. Why not? I'll just take it out of your check. I can do whatever I want. Right? That was me being a bad manager. My point, is it well received? I don't know, probably. Doesn't matter. I didn't do it the right way. I came in, I said, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. That's it. Get on board or get out. That used to be my attitude. That attitude did not get me very far, having that attitude, getting people to do that, okay? So think about your expectations for your people and think about your bosses, how they communicate expectations. And you know what? If it's not clear, guess what it's okay to do? Ask. Ask. Don't guess. Not in car dealerships, man. Make the wrong guess, end up on the street. Come on. Think about how you want to interact with people. Think about where you want to take them and communicate it to them clearly. And try to do it in a way that's about working together, right? Like here we are sitting together. This is what I want, right? Side by side, that's what I'm after. I don't want this. You will do what I say and it will be now. That is not helpful to anyone at all, okay? So, this is my favorite one, and I'm halfway, all right? Halfway, and I'm going to spend a lot of time here. The automotive pay plan, huh? Who does not love a good car business pay plan? Because whatever it is today, good luck if it'll be that tomorrow, okay? And if you outsell it, shame on you, because it's about to change again, right? Let's talk about it. So, a little bit small writing, but why variable pay plans fail? You see, my operations director, when he came to work with me, I've known this guy since I was 12 years old, so 27 years. When he came to work with me on our company, Car Biz Done Better, he comes from the corporate world. Whole Foods, previous to the Amazon takeover. He was a real Whole Foods employee, okay? And he was shooting up the corporate ladder, and he was on his way. And I said, well, what do you think about getting into a startup, making no money, and really giving this a shot to work with me? Probably the craziest dude you know. Okay, well, I don't know. Sure, I hate my corporate job, he says. Okay, cool. So we're in. So we start. I immerse him in dealerships. We go into stores. I consult side by side. He's standing there. We go into a pay plan discussion. The owner's like, yeah, cool. This dude and this dude outsold him, so change him. This guy didn't, so raise it. Just 5 different pay plans in 5 minutes. We walk out, he goes, what the hell was that? It was a pay plan discussion. He goes, you can't change people's pay. That's what he said. I go, what do you mean? He goes, dude, corporations don't allow you to do that. I said, anything this look like a corporation to you? All right? This dude changed the pay plan. He's going to do it. It's over. It's done. Now think about this. How many other industries have pay plans like that? And don't confuse me saying commission. That's not what I'm talking about. Because the commission structure's changed. That's what makes it variable. So how many other businesses have variable could change month-to-month pay plans. Anyone aware of anyone besides automotive? No, neither am I. Neither am I. And that's what's killing me. That's what's killing me because this, it says here, employee's view of pay plan. Plan does not increase base pay. That's hilarious. Dealerships with base pay. Guys, think about it. Think about getting in to a pay plan that has a base rate because the other progressives in the way are doing it. That's what happens. Now, if you're a one-price store, that's easy because you're already paying a flat as is plus a salary. Everyone's happy. The one-price store, that's a little bit of a different animal, okay? It's a little bit of a different animal, but they still find ways to be variable, okay? They still get into the incentives. Plan incentives are not desirable. To whom is the question? Who are they not desirable to? Typically, the top salespeople are the ones that hate your pay plans because they outsell them. And then they're told it has to change, which, I don't know, does anyone have any idea why we do this to people? Because I've been trying to figure it out for 20 years. Because if my guy hits his pay plan, right, and I pay him 25% of, I don't know, who cares? Doesn't that mean, hypothetically, that I'm on the hook for the other 75? So why this destruction of pay plans over someone outselling it? I'll tell you why. It goes back to the double doors. It goes back to ego. Dave, this one's going to hit home, all right? How many times, Dave, have you, as a BDC manager, potentially had a great month and made more than the desk manager? That ever happened to you? Huh? Yeah. Any pay plan discussions ever follow those? Yeah, yeah. Nice guy, doesn't want to say it out loud, I don't blame him. But here's the deal. He's not wrong. Do you know why? Because the ego's on the desk. We're like, whoa. Dude in the BDC hole, I don't know what he does, I don't really care. But there's no way in F he's going to make more than me. Sorry. So I'm going to complain to my sales manager instead of embracing my BDC manager and getting more out of him to get more for me. And why should we blame him for working his pay plan? It's the first thing we say to people. Here's your pay plan, now go work it. Then they work it and we go, good job, cool, let's change it. Like, what is this? You know the retail life. BDC director, multiple stores, you go through that nonsense. Guys, it's no way to retain people. Stop effing with their money. You should have plenty of it on your own. If you're paying a 25% kick, 75 should be going your way. I could do an entire 50 effing minutes on this because it drives me nuts. Really does. Crazy. Because this is why we're burning out our people. Because we're continually moving the target. They're continually hitting it, we're moving it again. Not everyone's doing it, guys. Tools, okay? You have tools throughout your dealerships that are going to help you get this done. CRM is number one. Number freaking one on the list of things you need to make sure that everyone in your dealership understands. You clearly communicate the expectation of the CRM. The data in here is invaluable, okay? But if every customer is sourced as a drive-by, it is not helpful. Dave, there he goes again, because he knows. This is the problem, okay? We're not utilizing the most expensive, or thereabouts, piece of tech in our stores. No, what we're interested now in is getting you guys more technology. Do you know what more tech has done to our business? It has made us lazy. Okay? Lazy. 1999, 2000, I'm using a Rolodex. I know that sounds super old, but that's what I was using. That's how I kept track. That was what was required of me by management, was to go through my Rolodex, sit at the desk, and make sales calls on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever the case was. The CRM is invaluable. Please know that. Number two, the BDC. If you got it, love it. Hold it. Bring it near. Stop acting like it's some different part of your dealership that exists in the internet portal out in the corner. Stop. I've got internet directors throughout this place. They can all tell you that this is one of their main frustrations, is there is no integration into their world. How about leads and opportunities, right? You provide them to your staff. Yes? Head shake for interactivity? Yes. All right, accomplished. Yes. When you do that, you should have an expectation of what you want to see happen with those leads and those opportunities and how you want them followed up with. Because I need you to go through this list and think about, do I have these in my dealership? Yes, I do, right? I have a CRM, I have a BDC, I have leads. But how do I bring it all together? Well, how's that for an answer? Your employees are the most dynamic tool you have. Or, as we started off our fun session at 9 a.m. today, the franchisees as part of our session. The part that we look at. And again, back to the franchise model, McDonald's pays for this, McDonald's pays for that, McDonald's pays for that, and they pay some of that. You guys can ask. It's okay for you all to expect more from your salespeople. It's okay. Look at all the shit you give them. Seems more than fair to expect more. As long as you say it, spell it, show them how to do it, right? Sean, I'm not a babysitter. Yeah, get out of management. Sorry, I'm not a babysitter. I hear that like once a week. Okay, cool. Then get out of management, go back selling cars, and mind your own business. That was easy. I don't want to do that. I'm a manager. Okay, well, I mean, pick a side, man. What's it going to be? I'm not a parent, but that's what being a manager seems to be, right? People running around need direction. Give it to them. Help them. Help them understand. Uh-oh, here's the big one. This is the closer. I do that kind of fast, though. You guys are going to have to get more interactive with me here. No, I'm just kidding. Here's the deal. Silos are bad, okay? So this is what I like to call the good, sorry about that. This is the good Midwestern slide I like to throw in here, right? I'm from Wisconsin, right? Silos are bad for everybody. Hear me there? Bad for everybody. When you put BDC in one, you put sales in another, and you have, see how we kind of put management a little bit above? We should have put them even higher, because that's what happens. The silo gets bigger, and somehow the owner, he should be at the way top of it. But what happens is, what happens in the owner's office happens here. What happens in the sales office happens here. Dave's the BDC, and then out here, right, it's my sales team. Now, how is that supposed to work? Again, when we talk about corporations, it's a good thing the car business isn't corporations because they would have to all be independently operating together and for a common goal. That does not happen. For whatever reason, it's Dave's job is Dave's job, okay, as BDC manager, director. It's his job. Victoria's job is sales manager. That's her job. My job is owner. Everyone else is salespeople. So there's like a bubble here. Just don't cross it, okay? Stay in your lane. No. Break down the silos at your dealership. They are costing you car deals. They are costing you heartache. You are turning over your people because of it. How do I know this? I live in dealerships every day. I listen to the heartache. I know what exists. I'm serious. This comes from actions I've been a part of, not from something I'm guessing about, thinking about, oh, well, maybe this would work. No. This has to end at car dealerships. And you know what we're actually missing in here that my friends from Reunion Marketing just walked in and reminded me of? Somewhere over here is the marketing team of this silo. And that's a big problem for me because the marketing should probably be more like here in the silo world, and then we should all be working up towards that common goal. But we don't. We say our marketing people are marketing people, just leave them be. And leave the BDC people to be. Well, shouldn't they communicate on what's being offered? And maybe if it happens, we'll have an email go out. Everyone will see the specials. No, not the specials, man. What numbers need to be sold? What units need to be moved? Every OEM incentivizes a car. Does everyone on the floor and in the BDC and on the sales team, does everyone know it? Does everyone know what we're trying to accomplish? I will guess better than 50% of the time the answer to my question is no. They don't. And it's costing everyone money and car deals. Think about when you're siloed and you're in your spot. And I know because when I started, it was 1998. That's, I guess, a while ago. And an owner that I was working for came to me and said, hey, Sean, I just got all these paper faxes here. They're from Auto Trader. Go figure out what that means. Faxed internet leads, folks, okay? That's where the silo began, because then I was no longer a salesperson. I was the internet guy. So I got put in the internet bubble. Don't worry about him. He's on the internet. You know what else happens to the internet guy? And Dave, I know you can attest to this. All of a sudden, you're an internet manager. People think you're the IT director, right? People come kick my door in. Hey, Sean, my computer's broken. Dude, what do I care? Go call IT. No, you're the guy. Come fix it. God, the word internet does not mean be able to fix it, okay? But here's the goal. The goal when we were at our store, when we talk about breaking down the barrier, was that the owner's office was right across from where we did our Saturday morning meetings. And I would always ask him if he was going to be in town, pop in. But only pop in if you're going to bring me the fun owner energy. Don't pop in if you want to crap all over people on a Saturday morning, because I can't have that. Can't. Because we can't let the shit roll downhill. Not at dealerships. You have to be a dam for your people. If you're directly connected to the owner or the general manager, you must be able to create a dam so that whatever goes on in there, good, bad, or indifferent, does not get here and does not get here. It can't. Because negativity is what kills dealerships. Negative attitudes, negative leadership, it's all the same to me, okay? Stop being negative. But why are we negative? Probably because we put in long hours and people screw with our pay. Fair enough. But my goal in life is to leave this industry better than I found it. And the only way to do that is to help you understand that in order to empower people, you must break down these walls, and all of that must just become all words on one silo called the dealership. Because that's truly what it is. What is this I'm hearing now about, we have an internet-facing dealership. What the hell does that mean? Oh, we have an internet sales team. You mean you have a sales team? Because everyone goes on the internet now. So now what? Well, yeah, they just specifically sell internet customers. What? All customers run, so they sell customers? I don't understand why we're starting to make more distinctions about what we're doing with people. And this new technology fad, right? Like digital retail. Oh, God. That makes these even harder. Because now the silo that's all the way over here that you can't see and it's anonymous, you know nothing about it, is a digital retail buyer trying to buy a car from a BDC that doesn't talk to a sales team that a management doesn't agree with. Super cool. I'm glad we bought $1,000 a month technology so you could all argue about it. Awesome. Thanks a lot. Come on, guys. Think about digital retail as the next step into helping you break these down. You want to sell cars online? Let me ask you this. How many of you are comfortable with selling a car over the phone? Raise your hand. Then all of you are ready for digital retail, and bravo to you. Most stores, when I ask that question, how many hands go up? 0. But inevitably, someone will come up to me afterwards and go, hey, Sean, not willing to sell a car over the phone, but you think I should sign up for digital retail? No, I don't. Because that's an anonymous user that you'll never meet, let alone a guy on the phone who's 200 miles away, whatever the case might be. Digital retail was a response to one thing and one thing only, Carvana. That's it. And you know what I think about every time I see a Carvana sign? Every time? Like this one I just saw on the way to the airport in Madison, Wisconsin, says, buy your next car from your couch. And I wanted to say, says any dealership with cars in the Madison area. Why does it have to be different? Because they're an online company. I got a website. I got inventory. What can Carvana do that I can't? They're willing to have discussions I'm not. That's the difference. There's nothing they can't do that I can, but there is a ton I can do that they can't. Like have a physical location, like be able to service. Okay? New cars. I've got an independent in the room right here. He's got 3 stores down in the North Carolina area. And we got into digital retail recently. And he's excited. He's like, dude, my BDC will sell it. We'll make it work. First couple months, he's making deals, shipping cars. Sounds like the Carvana of North Carolina. And what has he done? he added a widget to his website and got everybody from front to back on board. That's how he succeeds. That's the only way to succeed. You can't take on new tech if you still live in a siloed world. You can't. Okay? So let's get into the takeaways. I love a good takeaway slide, and to be fair, this is probably the only photo-worthy slide that I have. So feel free, take pictures, run video. It does not matter to me. Share it with your friends. That's what I like to say. Okay? So when we look at takeaways, sales teams and or franchisees are your moneymaker. If you take care of them, if you convince them of the goals, you will succeed. The best dealerships have good management, great salespeople. Why are they great? They had training to such an effect. And they have good leadership. Now, will I find great salespeople at bad dealerships? Absolutely. Happens all the time. But if they're at a bad dealership and they're good at what they do, guess what they're doing? They're looking for work. You can almost assure yourself, if you have a top-line talent that feels like it's not getting the love, they'll go find the love elsewhere. It's a car business, right? I used to always say, if you can sell a car, you can live anywhere you want. Proved it myself back in 2003. Wife and I moved to Colorado on a whim, walked into a dealership, got a job. Why? Because I sold cars, okay? That's how we can do it. Always do it. Sales teams are your moneymaker. If we retain the best, we will be the best, okay? I'm not a big mantra guy, but if I were going to have one, this would probably be it. It's a good one. It is. I'm not even sure if I came up with it or the operations director. Either way, it's a good one. It's probably him. He's way more good with the words. If we can retain the best, we will be the best. Say it over, write it down. I don't know, maybe put some stars next to it, underline it, whatever you got to do to bring that note forward, okay? Because as you go through the rest of your days here, you have 3 days, basically 2.5 days, keep this in mind. Please keep this in mind. Because you're going to hear a lot about technology, advertising, tools this, tools that. We're going to change the world. No, they're not. No, they're not. No piece of tech is going to fix your broke-ass process. Sorry. I know, I'm a bad guy. I get it. But stop looking for technology to make the fix. It doesn't. It won't. Ever. Neither will advertising. Sorry, advertisers, love you guys to death, but you will not make the difference between a store succeeding or not. It happens at a store level. Only at a store level. Okay. So this is the cleaned up version. I had the F word in there to start, but I realized that's a little brash, and I'm okay with that. So that's why I've been using effing today. It's cool. It's because my wife was busting me down about it. Stop messing with people's money, okay? Please. If there were another mantra, this would be it. Because in our business, we do it too frequently. And until someone gives me a good reason as to why they change their pay plan, and I get it, people don't want to say that here, but if you see me walking around, because I walk around this shirt all day, that's all I have on, you'll find me everywhere. Stop me and tell me, Sean, this is actually why I think changing pay plan is a good idea. Okay? I like it. I want to hear it. I want to know, because that way I can educate myself and we can have a discussion around it. Because that's what I'm here to do. I want to have discussions. I don't know that I'm 100% right. I'm probably not. But I'll take 50. I'll take 50. I got no problem with that. It's good odds for me. Red or black. Stop messing with people's money all the way around. It is unnecessary for most cases. But now I'm interested to learn what it is. So he got my attention. I like that. See how interactive we were right there? I spoke, he didn't. That was great. It's awesome. That's what they were looking for. Here we go. The tools for success are endless, but you have to use them to make them work. We already showed you BDCs, CRMs, phones, websites, lead providers, all the good stuff. You have it all. How do you use it? One of the best dealers I worked with over the last couple years was one of the first adopters of digital retail, and I was sitting down with him. I said, hey, what is it about digital retail that works? He said, nothing. I don't understand. Why would you sign for something that works? He said, it doesn't matter, Sean. The point is a tool. You got to make it work for you. Whatever it does, however you use it, it must work for you. I found it to be very entertaining because I thought, okay, if it works for you, then that's a tool that you could get behind. That's a tool you can get your people behind, right? The CRM, I mean, aren't CRMs all on cell phones now? Yes, admittedly, it's been a while since I've been out of the dealership. Yes. Yes? CRMs on cell phones? Interactivity? Yes. All right. So cell phones are with, do you have your cell phone, Dave? Yep. Dave, behind him, you have your cell phone? Yes. Okay. Everyone probably has their cell phone. So why is it that I still have people getting walked on the back of my lot if I have a cell phone with a CRM on it? How is this possible? Sean, the Wi-Fi is not out there. Okay, these are excuses. Go get the Wi-Fi out there. Give me a break. Come on, guys. If you pay your CRM company to have a mobile app, use the mobile app. Require people to do so. We talk about removing the friction for customers, right? If you guys ever heard of the name Brian Benstock, all Brian talks about is removing friction from the sales process for the customer. Guess what I'm asking you to do and advocating for? Remove it from your dealerships and your sales teams. Remove the friction for them to do their jobs. Empower them to run their own McDonald's. That's what we're talking about here. They have their own store. Sean, they can't make their own hours. I had a rule, man. Somebody sold 20 cars plus at a store. Guess what? Make your own hours, dude. Work by appointment. Don't fall below 20 cars, though, because that's going to go away real quick. But if you can do it, do it. What does it matter if you can get 20 cars done faster and more efficiently than someone who can sell 15? Why should I make you sit around at work? I need to keep the energy high. You see, I'm a high energy guy, if that did not come across to any of you today. Right? I'm extremely high energy. I wake up this way. I don't use caffeine. If you guys knew the amount of downers I use, you'd laugh. All right? I try to bring myself down because, I mean, hell, I didn't get in till 12:30 last night. I was up at 5 a.m. That's like 4 a.m. where I live, but I'm ready to go. Let's do it. So bring the motivation, bring the energy, and know this. Managers make the difference. Not tech. Not anything. Your managers will make the difference because they are the conduit between the top of the totem pole, the ownership, and I hate using the word bottom, but on the other side of the totem pole with the sales team. They're the conduit. They must speak both sides. They must understand both angles. If they are not understanding of either, they need training. Train your managers. Guys, that is my presentation. Any questions that anyone wants to get into now? We have like 3 minutes. We can do that, or I'll be hanging out afterwards. That's all the information. I think they want you to, no, it was that one, sorry. The texting for selling, which I don't have anything to sell you guys, so that was easy. I avoided that. There's the info. Again, please let me know throughout the show. Have a discussion. I would love to know more about what you thought. That's it. That's it, all right? Yeah, very good. For you guys. Round of applause for you guys. Yes.